Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to The Ship Life. So for today's cruise news, Royal Caribbean has officially gone back to self-serve buffets, and naturally a lot of people aren't happy about it. Now I just got off a Royal Caribbean ship yesterday and I got to experience self-serve buffets as well as ask for other opinions of guests on board. I'll give you the details in today's video. As the pandemic starts to fade away, Royal Caribbean has also announced that masks are officially now optional inside of their terminals. Could this be a sign that cruising is officially going to go back to 100% normal? Also, a collision recently took place in a Bahamian cruise port with a Royal Caribbean ship, Mariner of the Seas, and a cargo ship. Let's go. So as most of you know, I've been extremely busy doing a ton of traveling. I went on 2 cruise ships over the past week and unfortunately dealing with really crappy Wi-Fi. So I couldn't upload my cruise news. So we have to kind of do a little bit of house cleaning, play catch up, and start easing back into the cruise news. Starting off with what's going on with Royal Caribbean. First up, we got to talk about the new masking changes. So as most of you know, over the past 2+ years, obviously the pandemic with COVID and everything was a little bit of a doozy, just a little bit. And then especially when it came to the cruise ship industry, they had the grip hold of the CDC. That was up until the beginning of 2022. The CDC was done and away with, and the cruise lines could essentially fend for themselves. However, the CDC came out with guidance telling the cruise lines, basically what they should do, saying that they should still continue to test, have everybody that is on board vaccinated, and of course still mask and social distance. Now, this all comes up to around April 18th. This is when the masking policies for not just cruising, but transportation in the United States, which includes buses and airplanes in particular, for them to still implement masking and social distancing policies. That then expired. It was then on April 20th, where the airlines like your JetBlue, United, Southwest, you name it, they all came out and said that you no longer have to wear masks on board planes. TSA even said that they will not be enforcing masking policies on board, so now masking is optional. You then turn to the cruise lines. Well, they started a little early. Over a month ago, they decided that if you are vaccinated, you no longer have to wear masks on board cruise ships. And now we come to where we are with this point with the masking situation, where they are now getting rid of masking policies inside of Royal Caribbean terminals. Now, Carnival is doing the same thing. I'm not exactly sure about NCL, but if they haven't already yet, I'm sure they will soon enough. Now, I did get off of a Royal Caribbean ship, Freedom of the Seas, yesterday, and I got to experience this. It was crazy because when I got to the cruise port, masking was still being implemented. It was required in order to go into the terminal. And when I got off yesterday, I looked around and I saw even the employees weren't wearing masks. And I was like, it's strange. And I saw other people take off their masks because they looked a little confused like I was too. I then took off my mask and I asked one of the employees if I could, and they said, yes, masking is now optional. This is all coming from April 20th. So I think this is definitely a step in the right direction. Now, Royal Caribbean has also quietly snuck into the COVID rules, regulations, and policies and turned the buffets back into self-serve buffets. We all know that, of course, there was the giant cruise ship industry pause, especially in the United States, for a whopping 18 months. And then around June of 2021, when cruising came back, the buffet had changed entirely, and they were no longer self-serve. Instead, the crew or the employees on board the cruise ship would serve all the food. Now, of course, there was a lot of controversy around this, but overall, people, the passengers, were extremely happy about this because we've all seen the booger hands and the guests that, well, maybe they didn't washy-washy, or the kids that are grabbing the food and grabbing the ladles. It was overall disgusting. So a lot of people were saying that this is one rule that they honestly don't have a problem with, even when we go back to pre-pandemic cruising, when we essentially go back to normal. Now, personally, I do agree. However, when I got on board Freedom of the Seas recently and I saw that the ladles were turned to our end for us to grab for ourselves, I did try to kind of like gauge the room and see how people were feeling about it. And overall, it did seem like really nobody cared. Everybody was kind of chilling. They grabbed the food. Some people were kind of skeptical. However, the buffets, being the Windjammer on board Freedom of the Seas, was extremely packed. And I even asked a couple people about it. Some of them said they don't care one way or another. They're just kind of watching people like I do. I'm a big people watcher, to be honest with you guys. I'm looking out for kids. I'm looking out for, let's say, what some people are doing in terms of grabbing stuff with their hands, maybe what they're doing with their hands prior to grabbing the ladles. But overall, like I said, I do believe this is a step in the right direction if you are looking for cruising to go back to pre-pandemic levels or basically back to normal. The only thing that is going to bring up the question now were 2 things. It'll be, of course, the pre-cruise testing and the vaccine requirements in order to sail. Now, will those get alleviated in, let's say, the coming months by summertime? It's hard to tell at this point in time, but like I said, if that's something you're looking for, we are going in the right direction. However, personally, I do believe that summertime, even though it is peak season for cruising, maybe just a little early. We got to see what's going on, of course, with the pandemic, with COVID, what the government is trying to do, so on and so forth. You get the idea. But either way, of course, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Now, finally, in cruise news, of course, as you guys are hitting that like button if you're enjoying the video, we did have a recent accident took place on April 20th. This is also at the same time all the changes were coming with the masking policy in Royal Caribbean's terminals, as well as the changes in like the buffets. Everything started kind of getting confirmed. We had an accident when it came to Mariner of the Seas. Now, this ship was in Freeport over in Grand Bahama. I was actually recently there. Was I there on the same day? I'm not exactly sure, but this ship was originally set to go to Nassau, but unfortunately they had to change itineraries and reroute over to Grand Bahama, which is why they were there. So there were paying passengers on board at the time of the incident. There was a ship known as Tropical Freedom, which again is so funny to me because I was on Freedom of the Seas. But anyway, you had this ship. It was a cargo ship, Tropical Freedom. Somehow it ended up running into the stern or the back of Mariner of the Seas. Now, it was the bridge on the cargo ship, the Tropical Freedom, that ended up hitting the stern of the ship. Now, thankfully, it was minor damage. You can see in the video, or in the picture rather, I wish I had video footage of it. The damage was minor. A lot of people believe it was taking place on the 5th deck on board Mariner of the Seas. There were believed to be thousands of passengers on board just kind of hanging out at the pool. They felt the ruckus, but nobody was really alarmed. Nobody was freaking out. And the ship, with the minor damage, is said to be still continuing on its merry way with their regular scheduled itinerary. So things ended up working out. Anyway, we are going to leave this video right here. Of course, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know in the comment section below. I know I gave you guys a barrage of videos today. What did we do? This is video number 3 for today. I hope you guys watched this one. Cruise news is back. I will be doing this daily, of course, as well as my vlogs. I still got a couple videos that I got to put up from Freedom of the Seas, including like a belly flop competition. It was insane, and just so many other things. My time at Coco Cay, which was my 3rd time over at Coco Cay, and well, it was an interesting day, so just be on the lookout for that. Anyway, guys, of course, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out our travel agent sponsored touring plans. They will hook you up, whether you need a cruise, you want to go to a theme park, resort, they got you covered. They are literally one of the best in the game. Link in the description box below, and I will also pin it in the comments. I appreciate you guys, I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take it easy.